is the DAWbench Radio Show, the official podcast of DAWbench.com.
Welcome to the DAWbench Radio Show. I'm your host, Curigliano of AAVIM Technology in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm joined again by Pete Brown of Microsoft from Maryland in the United States. How are you going today, Pete?
I'm doing all right, Vin, over here in Maryland.
Look, I can pronounce it correctly, as you know. Maryland. But, you know, it's a bit of an in-joke that I say Maryland because...
And I still like it. It sounds like a happy place.
That's what I'm saying. You tell me that it sounds like a happy place. So, you know, like Disneyland, we'll say Maryland. And I also know that it kind of grinds on some of the listeners that I say Maryland. But That's how we pronounce it in Australia, mate, because, you know, Maryland chicken. We can't go in and ask for Maryland chicken because they wouldn't know what the fuck I was talking about. There you go.
So embrace being wrong, Vin. It's awesome.
Embrace being wrong.
It's a good look for you.
Oh, really? Says the man you can't say solder.
Yes, solder.
Yeah, let's not go.
Solder. And aluminium. Yes, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there we go. Now we're getting way sidetracked. Now, today we have a special guest coming in from Mainz in Germany, and that is Tilman Sillescu, who is the co-founder and creative director at Sonuscore, who are a leading, highly respected and widely used orchestral sample library and instrument developer that have been releasing high-quality sample libraries since 2012 with a focus on the libraries being easy to use, ultra creative, fun, and musically inspiring. Welcome, Tilman.
Yeah, thanks for having me and looking forward to the talk.
Oh, you're most welcome, Tilman. You're most welcome. Now, I always start the show with, you know, what's my personal experience with the products? Where did I actually cross paths with Sonuscore at first? And you know, my personal experience goes all the way back to when you first released the Orchestra. That was, I believe, the first Sonuscore library that you released.
Yeah, it was a big one in the market.
Yes. And look, and I'm a dealer for the products as well through Best Service. I've been, across the products for, what's that now? We're going on 13 years. And look, even more recently, with my DAWbench benchmarking suite, with the 2025 development, I have moved the virtual instrument test away from using a full version of Contact. So I needed something that was going to be working in Contact Player. And to give it a wider reach, I decided to, do a bit of a search for some freeware libraries that would actually be able to play the orchestral component of the music that's in the track, which was originally just in the orchestral libraries that was in the full Contact library. And I mean, this is going back to Contact 3, Contact 4, something like that. And my understanding, I think they were early Vienna VSL libraries, I think. This is before they actually created their own engine. So
yeah, they were first in the market.
Yeah, look, the libraries are actually quite good. So I needed something that was actually going to be representative of at least replacing those at the kind of a similar quality. And I looked for ages to try and get some freeware libraries. And look, a lot of the other sample developers and instrument developers, they've all got like a free kind of tier now. And I'm working my way through them and going, Jesus, all I need is some violins, violas, some bass, contrabass, and I need basically a nice staccato, And I couldn't find anything. And then I found the Sonuscore orchestral elements, and everything just went, here we go. Thank you very, very much. So Sonuscore orchestral elements is going to be a key component of the DAWbench VI 2025, probably going to be 2026 now. And it sounds awesome.
Cool. So Win, my question to you is, did you already upgrade to the full version, the Orchestra Complete 4? Be honest with me.
Not yet. There you go. Oh, look, I don't work enough in that style of music for me to actually justify that. But
so our trap didn't work on you. Didn't work on you.
No. Plus, DAWbench needs free libraries to be able to be reproduced by other people, right, Vin?
Yeah. I think you're going to be hooking a stack of other people. Anyone that kind of wants to have a play with DAWbench VI, they have to download that library. And if they haven't been introduced and heard the quality of the instruments before, they're certainly going to hear them in the track. So there you go. You might not have got me, Tillman, but I think you'll score you'll hook a few, I think.
Yeah. I can't. Won't complain here.
Awesome. Hey, I think what would be great now is if you can give us an overview of your personal history in music and technology, and how that led to you founding your parent company, which is DAWbench, which we can get into a little bit further and go into further detail with that. And then the eventual journey to developing your own libraries and founding Sonuscore in 2012. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, it's going to be a long story, Vin. So
it's okay, as long as it takes, mate. It's fine.
If we all get the time, I will start. When I was a child, I was no, just kidding.
You can start all the way back there if you like.
I was very early from my early days on. I knew I wanted to be a musician because I'm a little bit a lazy personality. So I wanted to just not have a real serious job in my life, but just make some music sounded great to me. So that was the start. And I noticed I have musical talent. I played classical guitar and electric guitar and played in bands and studied classical music then. And I became a teacher at the conservatory in Mainz. And I just hated it so much. I can't tell you. Just have all the students, one after the other, like 30 minutes each. And I just wanted to be creative myself and not tell other people how to do it, right? And then I met Pierre Langer, my partner, my business partner, and he was he was a student of mine at the conservatory in Mainz. He was a student, I think I was 30 years old and still teacher and playing in bands, some like that. And Pierre was, I think he's eight years younger than me. And he studied classical guitar like I did before. And he said, Tilman, you look like a cool guy, but somehow, do you enjoy this job? And I told him, no, not really, to be honest. And we liked each other very much from the beginning. And so we started discussing what can we do? What else can we do than becoming a teacher or being a teacher? And so he had a buddy. He made a very small computer game, a video game, and needed some nice 8-bit track. And he asked Pierre, "Can you do? You're a musician. Can you do music for that?" And so we did it both, and we liked it so much that we started to try to get in the business. So we made a demo reel on audio CD, and we went to the games convention in Leipzig in Germany, and went to the booths of German developer studios. And then it started like I think in the year 2001.
Right.
And we started with our first game soundtrack. It was a fantasy game named Spellforce. Nobody knows it anymore, but it was a great game. And for the then it started, and we get the video game series Anno, which is very famous in Germany and Europe. And we got one gig after the other, and it was very successful. This was the start with DAWbench.
Yeah. So you were doing, so at the start, predominantly you were doing game soundtrack and scoring for games.
Yeah, exactly. And I started with Logic. This was my first software program. It was Logic 2, I guess. So very early stage. But I started arranging for my jazz band and producing some nice tracks. And with the game music, there came the interest into sample libraries. So because Vienna Symphonic, it was already there, and Garriton, and I don't know what else.
Giga Studio? Did you use Giga Studio?
No. It was, maybe we were later. I'm not sure, but I immediately I started with using Contact.
Right.
I don't know which version. I think it was Contact 2 back then.
Yeah, I'm trying to think the timeline, because Contact 3 was around 2008, 2009. So it would have been, I mean, those early, if you started back in 2001, I'm trying to think what the sample engines were. I mean, Giga Studio was huge back then.
I remember that, yeah, but I didn't use it somehow.
Yeah. And look, my early Giga Studio clients, the majority of them, I was building dedicated PCs, so it was a PC platform only. It never made its way to Mac. No, it didn't. I think they were toying with it, but then they went under. But it was very much a PC only. They had some amazing technology as far as low latency performance, but they were doing some kind of naughty stuff where they were, bypassing some Windows, I suppose, the security layers. Is that the correct term, Pete? I mean, they were kind of diving straight into like kernel level stuff, and if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it was an absolute mess. But I do remember clients with Giga Studio, and quite a few of them were actually Mac and Logic users, but the orchestra were multiple Giga Studio PCs that then they used to feed back into the main machine. So, yeah, that's interesting.
As you're talking, Vin, I remember that we started in Logic, and there was this EXS sampler.
That's right, correct. Yeah, yes.
This was built into Logic, and we used. I know that we already worked with orchestral sample libraries that used this sampler.
Yeah, well, EXS used to be able to import Giga Studio libraries.
Maybe that was the hard to remember, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. So that might have been the gateway. So with Dynamedian, so you're scoring for gaming. You've got some early samples going. How soon did you start kind of expanding into actual recording, or did you start expanding into recording real orchestras? I mean, I'm okay with the gaming orchestration. Well, I know I've got friends and clients that work in gaming orchestration now, but I'm pretty sure that the majority of it now is all done with samplers. I don't think they're calling in orchestras, but I don't know back then. I mean, what was the procedure back then for, say, some of the larger game scoring?
So when we started in 2001, there was only orchestral samples. To be honest, orchestral samples were something new back then.
Yeah,
because people were working just with synthi sounds and in a very simple and raw way. But some very nice music was created back then. But somehow, as the visuals developed very quickly, and the games were trying to get these Hollywood settings, and then there was the need for Hollywood soundtracks, or what they thought would be like Hollywood soundtracks. So this was our entrance into the market, because we were classical educated composers, and we told everyone, yeah, we have the diploma, and we are able to do this Hollywood stuff. And we learned in our first 2 or 3 jobs, we learned how to compose soundtrack music.
Yeah.
And
oh wow.
Then I think it was the second part of Spellforce 2. It was like 2004 or 2005. And Pierre was able to convince the developer team that we have to record the soundtrack with a live orchestra.
Right.
So, yeah, he succeeded. And so I think we were the first German team recording a real orchestra for a game soundtrack. But it was already done in USA and I think in Asia as well.
Right.
But after that, everyone jumped on this train, and so we have recorded numerous soundtracks with orchestra since then. And we are still doing that. So for every big game like Age of Empires 4 or Company of Heroes 3, where we make music, it's all recorded by orchestra.
Right. So do you mock it up fully in with sample libraries first, and then you score it out and get the full orchestra? Yeah.
Nobody knows how it will sound, and nobody can approve it until they listen to it with an orchestral sound. So it's not like the film composers back in the 70s just playing on the piano, and then the director would say, okay, let's record this. But we of course have to produce it in an already very nice sounding way, with orchestral sound. And then the tracks are approved, and then we can start the recording session. That's how it goes.
Call in the full orchestra. But that's not for all games, though, surely, Tilman. I mean, there wouldn't be budgets for some of the smaller games to go calling in full orchestras, would there?
Yeah, you're right. Some of the smaller games, of course, they don't have the budget for full orchestra. Sometimes we offer a kind of compromise because we put together several gigs into one open orchestra session. So everyone gets his main theme at least played by an orchestra for a little money. So this is sometimes nice for a small game developer to have a main theme recorded live and to be able to promote this.
Oh, right.
But sometimes even for the bigger games, it's not all recorded by orchestra, but only like 1 hour of music is recorded by orchestra, but another 1 or 2 hours are more like with samples.
Yeah, of course. And a lot of the modern games use, pretty heavy electronic music and stuff as well. So obviously, and they kind of blend that in with orchestral elements. So I can see where that would not be requiring a full orchestra for that style, at least,
Yeah, that's true. Of course, there are settings in video games that don't require a live playing orchestra. Yeah. Sometimes it's just some nice staccato strings, and you can do this with samples.
Yeah. So the question is, having worked so extensively in the scoring for the gaming. Now, you do TV and film as well, don't you? At Median. Yeah, so there you go.
But not very successfully.
Right.
It's just German TV movies or TV shows, and sometimes a movie makes it into the German cinema or European cinema. But with the video games, we really do international productions, and for TV and films, it's more the smaller things, but sometimes it's very nice to do that.
I've got to tell you, I mean, I've got a close friend that he's a composer, and he's also a sample library developer. And we had I kind of mentioned him in our pre-chat yesterday.
Yeah, cool.
He told us a story, and I'll just say it real quickly, where the main focus for him was, I've got to get myself an A-list movie. I've got to get myself an A-list movie. And through his whole, early career, he's having all these interviews, and he's going to movie studios and producers and everything else. And they're going, the music's great, but we're not going to risk employing an unknown for a $20 million movie or whatever, $100 movie, $100 million movie. And so he told the story how he goes, well, instead of doing that, what he focused on was smaller TV shows, animation, syndicated, cable shows and that type of stuff. And he never got his A-list, but he did get, like it was like an art movie or something that became like a minor hit. But he did extremely well, never actually having what anyone would regard as a hit movie. And he's done extremely well with earnings and stuff just from the residuals of the smaller TV and the syndicated programs. So his advice to the younger composers listening in, going, you don't necessarily have to do large movies or large TV shows. Just get out there, do some work, do some good work, and and focus on just writing some great music. And the jobs will come to you, but you don't necessarily need to be a Hans Zimmer level Hollywood movie score to be successful in the industry. And I thought that was great advice from this is from Andrew K.
Yeah, he sounds like a really smart guy, and I agree to this concept of not trying to get all just the biggest hits, because always when it comes to really big productions, sometimes the air gets a little bit thinner, and there's more competitive atmosphere and more fear at all. Like will we succeed with a project or not? And so I personally, I like to do just normal stuff, whatever comes.
Yeah.
If they pay all right, it's a nice job. If they are likable people, I just enjoy my job. And if it's too much pressure on it, I don't enjoy this very much, to be honest.
Yep. And it just takes away from the art. So look, I've spoken to some clients that have got some bigger jobs, and the stress levels, Tilman, the stress levels and the timelines and the last minute edits and all the rest of it, and then they're exceeding the budget's disappearing, and they've just at the end they're just gone, why the fuck did I do that? So,
and there are too many people around with their own tastes bringing it in, and so sometimes it's difficult. You don't know who has to like your music.
Yeah,
who is in charge? Who is really in charge of the whole project? These are really things that come up with the bigger projects sometime.
Yeah.
Vin, you going to try your hands at some Australian soap opera now? Or?
No, not me, mate. No, that ship has sailed. But I know one of my closest friends is right in the middle of finishing off an art house film. It's going to be a cinema release, but he's in he's in final edit and delivery hell at the moment this week.
Final edit 5.
Yeah, because there's always the last minute. Oh, by the way, at 1 hour 25.3. Oh, we've just cut out 10 seconds. What the fuck do you mean you've just cut out 10 seconds? Oh, can you just cut and shut? What? Tilman will be going, yeah, I've kind of been there before, All right, so look, and I'll just get back to the question. What was the primary motivation for you to venture into developing orchestral sample libraries?
This was actually we had a crisis in the year like 2008 or 9 in Germany, and I think worldwide,
the financial crisis.
Yeah, course, and yeah, exactly. And we were a little bit running low on gigs and on jobs, and so Pierre he was already looking a little bit further into the future, and he told me, we need to have some more possibilities to earn money with our talent and with what we like to do, and so. We don't want to be dependent on developer teams being successful, and so we thought about what could we produce ourselves in times with not so many gigs for us as composers.
Right.
And the other thing was we had so much experience then in recording stuff, and as composers we were in need of other different libraries, so we wanted to make our composers' life easier, and we missed this kind of libraries in the market, and so we started to produce like pattern-based stuff that is easy to use. So we started with our first product was Action Strings back then, which we developed with native instruments.
I don't remember Sonuscore. So that was pre-Sonuscore.
No, we already were known as Sonuscore, but Native Instruments, they didn't care because we were famous as Dynamedion in Germany.
Right.
And so they called us Dynamedion back then as developer team of sample libraries.
Right.
So the name Sonuscore went through years later.
Right. So the first library wasn't a Sonuscore. That's what you were referring to earlier. Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was released as a Native Instruments product.
Right.
But we did it.
Right. Okay. So do you have any other third-party team up? Are you actually producing stuff for other third-party companies as well?
Yeah. Many of them. Our scripter team loves to make portations from our Contact libraries.
Right.
Because normally as Sonuscore, we do all for Contact because that works nicely for our scripter team.
Mm-hmm.
But we are working for Best Service, but this goes on the Contact platform where the Orchestra was released together with Best Service.
Yes.
And for Native Instruments, it was all on Contact as well. But we also did projects for Steinberg on Halion.
Right.
So like our phrases libraries, like lyrical vocal phrases or duduk phrases, we portated these on Halion.
Yep.
And for East-West, we did the orchestrator, the Hollywood orchestrator.
Right.
Because East-West loved our concept for the orchestra, and they wanted to have something similar like this for their Hollywood orchestra.
Now, that's for the Opus engine. It wouldn't have been for Play, would it?
Exactly. They were developing their Opus engine, and I think they did a great job with the Opus engine because I was using the Play engines as well and was never really happy with that. But is someone laughing here?
I'm laughing because I didn't really want to bring in my personal experience with the Play engine, but I've got to tell you, that was one of the most disturbing periods of support for myself when East-West went from Contact to Play. I mean, they'd admitted themselves. They would. I don't want to use the word, but it starts with a D and ends with a T, right? And there's the word dog in the middle of it. And it was like, what the hell have they done? I had clients that were moving from, that they were very heavily invested in those libraries because they were great libraries. And they, as soon as they moved from Contact to Play, I'm just getting these support calls of going, get off the fucking thing. They're going, well, we can't. All the new libraries are coming onto Play. It took them about, I don't know, Tillman, up to Play. I think Play 4 started kind of getting better. And then, Wolfgang went over to East-West, Wolfgang ex Steinberg, ex Presonus, and he was the main guy behind Opus. And I believe the original developer of Contact is now over there working on Opus as well.
Yeah, Wolfgang Schneider, you mean, I guess.
There you go. The two Wolfgangs.
Yeah, exactly. They did a great job on Opus engine.
Yeah, amazing.
I think they made a fantastic product with the Opus engine. And I agree with you when I had my issues and problems with the Play engine.
Yeah.
Still, I wanted to use the Hollywood orchestra because the sounds, the samples were brilliant, and they still are brilliant. And so I wanted to use the legato of the violins and all that stuff. But it's crashed so often. But now with the Opus engine, it's really working nicely.
Yeah, I think I'm still traumatized by it all. As soon as someone says play, my eye starts twitching.
But you're not alone.
Yeah, but Opus was great, and so I mean that. So that leads us to. So what were the shortcomings that you felt were in the available libraries around that time, 2012? That you felt you filled the gap. I mean, for me, Orchestra was one of the nicest libraries that covered all of the instrument groups.
Exactly.
And at a price point that was, very affordable. Plus you had, different tiers. That's why I thought you hit the ground running with that, because some of the other sample libraries, they were great, but they're always very specific. You had to buy the strings separately to the brass, to the percussion. Everything was separate. Then you had to build up these libraries from multiple libraries, where you guys presented the whole range across the range without really skimping on the actual quality of the library. So I thought that's why, personally, I thought that's why the Orchestra was such a great product and why it hit the ground running, like I said.
Thank you, Vin. And you haven't yet experienced the full version, the Orchestra Complete 4, which is so much more fantastic than the Element product is. But
turn those screws a little bit there.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I will stop now with it.
Oh, okay.
But, the Orchestra, actually, it was the concept was inspired by, I'm sure you know this product still. It was Symphobia by Project Sam.
Yes.
And we were fascinated by this concept. It was the first library who made my life easier as a composer, because I wouldn't have to play every single note for the first oboe, the second clarinet, the first violins, the violas. Every note I have to play, and my idea was long gone. And Symphobia, it was possible to play this big ensemble textures and ensemble articulations. And we thought this is a great idea. We should do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we enhanced it, like we want to have 5 slots with different sounds, but controllable. So you can have a mixer and you can turn the bass a little bit louder or a little bit softer, and you can exchange instruments and have several kinds of colors, of orchestral colors. And then the idea came upon, let's make some rhythmical stuff like patterns and with different accentuations and different meters. And so we had the basic rhythms presets. So you just get a chord to hold on the keyboard, and it just made
you had all the phrasing, all the phrases,
exactly.
yeah.
And then we enhanced it one step further with some arpeggiators, interlocking, and we recreated like cliché Hollywood soundtrack passages that you can play like just playing chords and hold them, and our engine generates like this stuff, because this is a great tool for sketching, or for you have a video and you want to try out which music fits best. So you can either play some nice orchestral ensembles, or you can play some rhythmic stuff, or you can play like full arrangements. And so that was the concept for the orchestra.
Yeah.
So like single chord trailer music kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think film music is simpler than most people think. It's built with not so many different layers. It's just sometimes it's only like Mission Impossible. It's a groove, and it's the melody, and that's all. And it's just layered with different orchestral colors. But the ideas themselves, they are not so complex, so you can rebuild them easily with 5 different slots that do different stuff.
Yeah, with the ensemble kind of approach. Yeah.
And I think it's a good idea. If you're not super familiar with the modern orchestral libraries like this one, it can be intimidating because you go into it thinking you have to play every little articulation and every note and every instrument across the orchestra.
Yeah, and it's a great learning tool for guys who don't know really how can I create a tension mood or an action mood and all that stuff. And you can just play this, and we have a MIDI drag and drop, so you can drag the MIDI into your DAW, and you know which instrument is playing, and you can go further from that and change the notes and build your own stuff. But it's not the white sheet of paper, but there is something you can build on.
Oh,
nice.
So the phrases are actually MIDI? They're MIDI phrases?
Yeah, with the orchestra, we recorded a normal classical orchestra library, which every section, orchestral instruments like flutes, piccolo, and bassoon, and violas, and timpani, and piano. And actually, we are offering all these NKIs, all these instruments as single instruments as well. So you can use the orchestra like a normal library.
Yes.
Like a Spitfire orchestral library. But in this engine, NKI, we put it together, and these little mini arrangements, these are just set together with step sequencers, arpeggiators, and free ensemble sounds.
Oh, perfect. So they're not just triggering a sample. They're actually MIDI phrases.
Yeah, exactly. We did this because we wanted the composer to still be able to have full control. So you can dive into the machine room in the orchestra. You can go to the edit page, and you can change accents. You can change the arpeggiator. You can customize the lines that an instrument is playing. So you can really make your own music with that.
But that's a perfect educational tool for the young composers coming in, or anyone coming into wanting to do that. Some nice orchestral phrasing.
Yeah, I think it helps. It helps young composers, and it helps even me as a professional composer, because it saves my time.
Yeah. So I just and we can talk a little bit more about, because some of your later products are really focusing on that whole phrase articulation stuff. What's interesting for me is that there's more and more, we'll call them sample playback engines that are hitting the market. So we spoke about Opus already. Kontakt is the big one, and a lot of the third-party libraries if they may originally start, they'll always start, or not always, but the majority of them will start on Contact, and then some actually move off, and some to their detriment. But so, you guys are focused purely in Contact. Can you speak to why you prefer that engine?
No, normally it's just the reason is because it's the mother tongue. When you started to produce libraries on a platform, you will stay on this platform normally. And I think for the other developers of sample libraries that build their own engine, the reason is not so much that they are not satisfied with Contact, but they want to be independent from native instruments.
Right.
Because they take some money
yes.
from you if you release an instrument in Contact, which is well deserved because Contact is a great platform.
Amazing.
But I can understand everyone who says, oh, we take the time, we take the money, and we build our own engine, and then we are totally independent from everyone else.
Yeah.
So it's very understandable.
Yeah. So I know that, and there's also multi-tier layers, licensing layers for Contact. I've spoken to a few friends that have been, working on developing some libraries and have read the Contact license, the licensing document, and so one of the things that was holding me back from getting a good free library for ages was that, and it was almost counterintuitive, that the free libraries required a full version of Contact. They wouldn't work on Player. And so and you'd be fully aware that there's two licensing levels. And you don't have to go into the greater detail, but I know that there's a different license for you to be able to release your library to the free player. And then there's also a different license where you need a full version of Contact. So I know that there's some hooks with that with some young sample developers.
Vin, I never knew that.
Yeah, no, there's multiple layers, Pete.
And it makes total sense. I just had no idea.
Yeah. So, and then again, that was, I was navigating, trying to find a free sample library to move off the Contact library that I used in DAWbench, because it was from Contact 3, believe it or not, right? And then it could actually, if you loaded it into Contact 4, 5, 6, or even into 8, it'll actually find the sample libraries that I used, but they used a different format back then, Tilman. Do you remember?
Yes.
Right? Because pre-Contact 4, they were WAV files, where Contact 4 on are using some type of compression thing, and it was actually throwing my benchmark out a little bit. So I for these years, I've been using the default library for my trusted testers has been the Contact 3 library, believe it or not.
Unbelievable, yeah.
I think that's back from when they used to ship you a hard drive when you bought Complete and stuff, right? Like, it's going back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's where I was going. And so with the for years I've been looking for good free Contact libraries to replace those original Contact library orchestral sounds, and most of the free libraries were requiring the full version. I'm going, well, this is kind of counterintuitive, because I'm trying to get it to a wider audience where people don't need a full version of Contact. They could use the free Contact player. So it was always a juggle. And like I said, the universe kind of came together for me with the Sonuscore orchestra elements for me. So there were some other ones that came close, but
we did this for the full, not for the full version, but we did this freebie for everyone to be able to play it with a Contact player.
Yeah,
and we have created some more freebies, and because years ago, our freebies were needing the full Contact player, and we changed this. So we preferred to pay some money to Native Instruments to be able to deliver a freebie for composers that don't own the full Contact version.
Yes, yeah. So there you go. That's exactly what I was navigating, and I actually grabbed a couple. I grabbed a couple more of your freebies yesterday, actually.
Okay.
So what customers may not know then is, like, when you have a freebie product like that, it wasn't free to you, obviously. Like, beyond the development cost, you actually had to pay Native Instruments to be able to release that.
we paid for the joy of our customers, and we paid money for it. Yeah, we do that.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So, like I said, there's 2 layers of licensing, and that was being indicated to me that if you wanted to release your library on the player, there was a different tier, which was kind of, again, that I think that was the counterintuitive part I was kind of intimating,
Yeah, and of course we have already thought about creating an engine by ourselves, but this would require much money and much time for our creative team. And what we really want to do is we have so many ideas for new libraries, and right now we're working on a really big one, which I can't tell you details about. But we just want to continue creating libraries instead of creating an own engine to be independent,
Yeah, I think anyone who was watching, the development of Play.
Back to that again.
So we're back to Play.
Well, I mean, but that's a warning heeded, if you know what I mean. There are other sample engines, third-party sample engines that people offer that I think are bolted in underneath some of these sample libraries. I hazard to suspect that not all of these larger sample libraries that have got their independent player, that they've developed that player from scratch. Because, I mean, like you said, to try and develop a mission critical sample playing engine, especially from people that are coming from, something like Contact, which is so well established. Yeah, you got to have large cojones,
But there are many different opinions about which engine is the best, and I've heard some critical voices about Contact not being developed further. Some more things should be optimized with Contact, and some people thought, we create our own engine because we want certain stuff to be possible. And so we do it to ourselves. And so I think there are lots of nice engines out of the market. Opus is great. And I think Best Service has just built their own engine, which is working nicely. And
right.
So we are very open to work with partners. And as I said, our scripting team, they love to do portations because they are learning stuff. It's for them like a kind of holiday during work.
Yeah. Well, I know. The guys over at UGM have got the Gorilla engine, and I know that's sitting underneath.
That's a good one as well.
Yeah, that's sitting underneath some other third-party sample developers, but obviously there's an agreement there that they don't disclose. So I don't know who it is, but I know that the Gorilla engine is actually driving some other the third-party libraries as well. So that's one of them. But like I said, there's a few others. Some of them are pretty hit and miss, though, but we won't go into that one. Now, with Contact as well, I've got to say that I'm very happy that you're still your major libraries are still supporting Contact 6, because Contact 6 for me was probably one of the better releases. Well, I had some mixed feelings on 7, and so did a lot of my clients, and I think 8 has kind of brought it back. Now, I'm not sure when Wolfgang actually left the building and moved over to East West, and I'm wondering if Contact 7 was that was the tipping point, where things kind of went a little bit sideways with Contact. But I think Contact 8 has brought it back. But I'm still happy using Contact 6 because that's still my favorite version, personally.
Yeah, I'm not sure if somehow, because I'm not the technical guy. I'm more on the creative side. I make this concepts. What do I want as a composer? What kind of stuff do we record, and how do we make it happen? And the scripter team, sometimes they are talking about that. We need to move one part forward. So I don't know if the next libraries are still working on Contact 6.
Right.
So,
okay.
But there's always the full Contact, always the player that you can use.
Yeah, and that's perfect. Look, I think, I'm trying to think, Contact 6, how far back are we going? 2018, 2019? It probably goes back that far, actually, Tilman. So, it might be time to kind of, move. Well, I've kind of moved everything to Contact 8 player now. So, there you go.
I started with Contact 2, and many things improved.
Yeah, I think I reckon I've gone all the way back to one. I'm trying to remember. I can't even remember what one was like. I kind of remember two. I definitely spent a lot of time in 3, 4, 5, 6. Skipped. I skipped 7. I'll be honest. I skipped 7 and jumped over to 8. So there you go.
Contact 1 was delivered on paper tape, I think, Vin.
But still, aren't you also fascinated by these whole technical development over like the last 2 decades? I think it's just really incredible with what is possible right now to do. And I'm fascinated by what is possible we record some orchestral samples and we put this together in a very smart way. And you can just play on your keyboard. You can play like fluent legato stuff on the violins. And this is really fascinating, I think. And still the orchestras are fully booked all the time. So the fear and the concerns of classical musicians and orchestra players, it didn't happen. No. The orchestras are booked more than ever.
Yeah.
So it was the opposite with the orchestral library stuff. People were getting used to this sound and they wanted this sound. And as soon as they could, they were hiring orchestras.
Full orchestras,
it's really cool.
Yeah. And it goes back to the old adage, when they tried to ban synthesizers, Well, it's going to take the job from all the orchestral musicians. And then they tried to ban all the tried to ban all the samplers, and on and on and on and on it went,
Exactly.
But that's actually a good insight. Because it's true. They went, these sample libraries, they've become so good and they've become so complex and articulate that it's going to be, sending the orchestras out of work. You've just kind of confirmed that's pretty much the opposite,
Yeah. The interesting thing then is, I think we have never been so close to the real orchestral sound with sample libraries like we are now, but still never so many soundtracks are recorded with a live orchestra.
Yeah.
So somehow it doesn't cannibalize the live recordings.
Yeah. I think it will come down to budgets as well. So I think for some of the smaller productions, they're going to not only mock the whole orchestral, that's the delivered product, or they might bring in certain elements of the real playing. But on the larger productions, I mean they're still. They might do a full mock-up, but it's tap tap tap, and off we go with the 88 piece. So. That's good. Yeah,
and you can always be creative as a small game developer. You can either let just a main theme played with an orchestra or with a smaller sized orchestra, or you can hire some soloists, which is great sometimes too.
Yeah, just to supplement the sample orchestrations. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's always good to have some live musicians recorded, and you can film it, and you can this helps to promote your whole project a little bit, because it's just people are aware, these guys, they're really loving their game. Yep. They want to enhance it wherever they can, and they make an effort,
Yeah. Well, I've noticed on most of your promotional videos, if not all, there's always an orchestra present in the video.
Yeah, I guess so.
There you go. Hey, just real quickly, this is kind of some background stuff, and I spoke to my friend Andrew about it as well. I mean, because nowadays the delivery of the libraries, and like Pete was mentioning about, was that when the delivery, they were delivering libraries with hard drives. They haven't done that, Pete, probably for about over 10 years, I would say now.
I've still got a couple of complete drives.
So I've got a whole stack of DVDs and drives and stuff as well. So now it's all online, which is another paradigm that you have to navigate, because everything needs to be downloaded. So just the level of distribution and like cloud and delivery mechanisms. And can you also, if you can kind of just cover that for us a little bit of what you can, right? And also just your relationship with, your best service, which is still one of your main, you're still working together doing libraries together and doing some distribution. They do distribution for you.
Yeah, Best Service. They are just our favorite partner, and we love these guys, Robert Leutner and Wolfgang Banco and Lupo, and they are so likely persons, and we have so much fun together. These guys, they sit in Munich and we sit in Mainz, so I think it's too far away to visit each other personally, even if this already happened. But normally we sit down in online meetings and talk together, and it's always very, very nice and very funny to create products together. And
so, how did that originally come about, Tilman?
That was our first product with Best Service was the Orchestra.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how the contact was born, to be honest.
Right.
I think it was Pierre who made the contact to Best Service. And they were keen on the idea to make like a product similar to to Symphobia as well.
Yes.
Because Symphobia back then it was like really the hot shit on the market.
Yep.
And we thought about how could we even improve this concept. And I think it was Wolfgang Banco who had the idea to have arpeggios played with orchestral sounds. So we really developed it a little bit together. Of course, we created the product and all that and recorded the orchestra, but there were some nice ideas coming from Best Service as well.
Right. Okay. And so as far as, like that whole cloud content delivery and the servers, the back end, I mean, so you guys are doing that directly as well. Can you speak of that at all? Because, I mean, you wouldn't have private servers actually trying to deliver that, would you? Or is it you're using a third-party cloud service for that?
I think I'm the least competent guy in the room about these topics.
Yeah.
Because, in our team, there are other guys from Sonuscore responsible for the delivery of our products.
Right.
And I'm just like a little kid listening to the big guys when we talk about, okay, what part does Best Service deliver and what parts do we do and how do we put all this together? I won't help you much when I try to explain stuff here.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. But I mean, it is an important aspect because especially, I mean, when we're talking libraries, 20, 30 gigabyte, 40 gigabyte, if the back end is not there, it can quickly become a nightmare. Now, I've had over the years where the whole DVD hard drive delivery aspect disappeared, and rightfully so, because it was very, very cumbersome and very expensive to try and do it that way. But with the download stuff, when the back-end servers, and you can, fill in blank here, that's because all of them are using these cloud-based delivery services now. When it's working well, it's great. When it's not, it's a nightmare,
Yeah, that's true. So most of our libraries that go with native instruments, we have just uploaded on native access.
Yeah.
So Stefan Kemler, our scripting lead, he has the contact to native instruments, and he has a contact person there. I think it's Rambert.
Yep.
And we are delivering to native instruments like 8 weeks before release. We are delivering our product to them, and they prepare everything for the delivery. And so we can just send people a serial, and they can go to native access and download it. And for the orchestra, we have Best Service hosting the product.
Yes.
So.
Yes, so that works perfectly for you. That works absolutely perfectly. And look, native instruments, I've had a lot of experience downloading those libraries, and native access, like when it works nicely. When it decides to get grumpy, it could take you 4 days to download your library. I usually start the library installations on client systems, and I leave them running overnight, and sometimes it takes a couple of days, depending on which library it is.
Yeah, I think if you download Hans Zimmer percussion with like 200 gigabytes.
Well, I mean, some of the combined libraries are like approaching 2 terabytes, Tilman, So you try and do that on we've got an amazing, broadband system here.
It's like delivered by kangaroo down there, right? It's not
just wonderful.
It's absolutely shitful. I mean, I've got one of the higher tiers, and you're going to laugh. One of the higher tiers here is 100 meg. It's 100 megabit a second. 100 megabit a second is the highest tier.
That sounds sweet, yeah.
I mean, it's just so ridiculous.
Vin, we did an event down in Melbourne years ago when I was down there, and then suddenly there was as part of it, everybody had to update their version of Windows on your bandwidth down there, and I think we took down all of Australia.
Unbelievable, yeah. Yeah, but Australia, it's a great country. I've already written you. I've visited Australia like 25 years ago as a young man. I was there, but for 6 months I was in your country and traveled all around.
Yep.
I even was in Broome in the restaurant.
Right far north. Yeah,
and we bought a car, a friend of mine and I, and we bought a car like for $1,000.
Yeah.
And it was really shit, but it was a Holden Kingswood, so it looked great.
Come on, don't knock the Holden, mate. Holden's Australian.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fantastic. We loved this car. And we went straight to the desert and was some of the best things in my whole life that I experienced. I simply love your country.
So you're crossing the Red Desert in a Holden Kingswood. Yep. I mean, you can't get more Aussie than that, mate. You know.
Yeah, and you know what? We stuck in the desert one day, and it was no other cars there because it was really it wasn't a road. It was just a kind of path.
People don't realize there's nothing in the middle of Australia except red deserts and fucking camels.
There's pain and death.
There's camels out there, guys, and people are going, "What do you mean there's camels in the red center of Australia?" There are feral
it was incredible
camels,
and it was really heat, and it was getting a little bit uncomfortable for us, and we started to really worry about ourselves with no other cars, no other people back around us, and then rescue was coming in form of a pickup, and a pickup like really in a bad shape, but filled with like 8 or 9 Aborigine guys, very cool guys, and they laughed at us. They had beer cans and can I help you? And then they just they got with a pickup behind our car in the sand.
Yeah.
And they just crashed our car out of the sand back to the road. So it was fantastic.
Oh, so you got yourself bogged out in the middle of the desert. Yeah. You know, some people don't survive that, Tillman.
Yeah, I was always a lucky guy, and the motto is "No risk, no fun" in Australia, I guess. And
I'm looking at pictures of the Holden Kingswood right now, and I can't believe you tried to drive that in the sand.
No, that was brave, man. That's brave.
That was a yellow-green color, and it was really great.
Yeah, a good old Holden. Holden was the traditional Australian car, Pete. You know, good old Aussie. You know, Holden. It's actually General Motors, but it was Holden.
That yellow-green color is horrid. I can't tell you how disgusting that color is.
That's like baby poo. Baby poo color.
Oh, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, it's that baby shit green.
The
color,
baby shit green.
Driving a diaper across Australia.
No. This was absolute alpha male car.
Yeah.
An alpha male car that looks like a diaper and gets stuck in the sand. I understand.
I got to tell you, Tillman, anyone listening in from Australia, you've just won the Aussie of the Year award, mate. That was like the token Aussie of the Year, Holden, driving a Holden across the fucking red desert, mate. And then we got bogged. We had to get the young Indigenous people to come out and fucking push us out, mate, with the beer cans, throwing beer cans, you know.
Yeah, and we visited the beer can regatta in Darwin in the north.
There you go.
That was fantastic as well.
Pete's going, what the fuck is he talking about? Well, there you go.
Well, sounds like sailing.
At least you dodged the camels, the kangaroos, the alligators, the crocodiles. Sorry, not alligators, crocodiles. Alligators are in America. So
snakes and spiders.
You survived the spiders and the snakes and the drop bears and whatever else can try and kill you in Australia, you know.
Yeah, and I just enjoyed it. I had the best time of my life in your country, and I was in Melbourne watching the penguins and all that.
Oh yes, the fairy penguins on Phillip Island. Yes, yeah, there you go.
I have to revisit Australia and visit you guys.
Well, both of you need to revisit, because I did meet Pete face to face back when he was in Melbourne that time, and that was the only time we've actually been face to face, Pete.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
We're going to have to remedy that in the future at some point, I think.
So your hair's probably down to your ankles by now.
No, I kind of trim it up, mate. So stop it. I forgot where we were. Oh, yeah, we're the cloud delivery stuff. I think what we should do is let's go through some history of the milestone releases for the Sonuscore stuff. Now, if you notice the way I've been pronouncing it, Pete, Sonuscore is I was practicing the pronunciation with Tillman yesterday, because there's two ways you could actually pronounce this name.
And given you're an Italian in Australia, both of the ways you pronounce it are going to be wrong.
No, it's much deeper than that. Vin pronounces it very, very well.
Oh, there you go, Pete.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I have to praise him there. And let me reveal the secret behind our name, because nobody cares about it. But now I have the
you have to explain it now. Yep,
to explain it exactly. So think about sonus. It's Latin for tone, sonus, and then there is core, the core of a tone, and so it's sonus core, the core of the sonus. And the other meaning is it's sonu, like a abbreviation of sonus, and then score, of course. So it has like a secret double meaning that nobody wants to know about that. But we made so much effort about this name. Now people are struggling to spell it right, but
well, everyone knows. I tell you what threw me though is that your logo, the middle S is a different color and it's larger. So I'm thinking Sonuscore, because of the big S in the middle, you know. But either or, I think it's a great name. So there you go.
Yeah, we are used to it now.
Yeah. So look, we covered some of the products already. So the orchestra, you're up to version 4 on that one. So that's kind of just evolved. And with each revision, am I correct in saying with some of the other smaller libraries like the Horns from Hell and Winter, Strings of Winter.
Strings of Winter, Forces of Fury.
Yeah, Forces of Fury, that's a beauty. Woods of the Wild, all of that. Do you actually, are all of those libraries bundled in with the complete orchestra, or they're not, or some of them are? Oh, they are all bundled in, right?
You have to think about the orchestra in its origin. It was just the core articulations of every sections of the orchestra. But the woodwinds, we didn't have a contrabassoon, but only a bassoon. We didn't have an English horn, but only oboes. Yep. And we didn't have a bass clarinet, and we didn't have flutter tongue brass, and we didn't have harmonics tremolo with the strings. So it was just core articulations and core sections. And then we tried to expand, do some expansion and add these kind of extended articulations and extended sections to the orchestral sound to just make the palette wider and offering more colors and more possibilities. And so we started with enhancing the string section, then the brass section, then the woodwind section. And the last what we did was we recorded like huge string ensemble sounds and some trailer percussion. Yep. And so maybe next thing could be some more choir, because the choir is pretty, pretty basic at the moment. We don't have so many different colors. But right now, it's the Orchestra Complete 4 it's really a powerhouse of, and you get everything what you need. We even have a church organ and a cembalo and stuff like that. Yeah. So you have plenty of stuff, and it's all available in single NKIs, but it's all available in the ensemble NKI as well. So
awesome. And the newest one of the newest libraries that you've done is called The Score. Now, where is that different to what you did in the orchestra? Because that's a lot to do with phrases, isn't it? It's more focused on phrases and parts, string parts, and all instrument parts.
Nah, not really.
No, it isn't. Okay.
it's a kind of different approach to film music, because the orchestra is about orchestral music, orchestral sound, and recreating orchestral music. Of course, film music is sometimes only orchestral, so this is a match.
Yep.
But the score, we wanted to take care about all other colors that film music got as well. So we do have band instruments like drum set, distorted electric guitar, e-bass, synthesizers, trailer drums, and some weird sounds, and some ethnic or regional instruments. Like, there's some Arabic plucked instruments and DC flutes and all that stuff. And we have the categories are not orchestral, but this time the categories are adventure, science fiction, thriller, documentary. So we created not presets, but we call this stories, because it was like, okay, you can just choose the science fiction category and choose a story, and then you have a kind of pre-designed core arrangement, and the sound, the ensemble, the color palette of the instruments, it's very synthy. And it's like futuristic drum kits and synthi sounds and synthi basses, but you can combine it, of course, hybrid way with strings and with orchestral sounds as well. So orchestral sounds are included in the score, but not in a detailed way as we did it in the orchestra. But it's high strings staccato, low strings marcato, stuff like that. So we narrowed this a little bit together, and we have 10 slots, so it's huge arrangement. So you can just it's a little bit, the concept is the same, because it serves as a brilliant sketching tool and learning tool, and it's a great time saver. So when I have to score in-game video of a video game, and it's a science fiction game, then I just I try out some of these stories and play some chords or some melodic stuff with a story, and I can experiment with my ideas this way much quicker and much more intuitively.
Yeah, awesome. So are the phrases and are they also MIDI available via MIDI as well?
Exactly.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah,
it's not really. I wouldn't call it phrases, because it's more little mini arrangements, or it's like basic arrangement stuff, like, you could be everything. Phrases, I think more about what we also created, phrases products like lyrical cello phrases, which is a cello player who improvises phrases, and you can put these together in different keys and creates your own melodic stuff then.
Yep.
But this is just semantic stuff. I don't want to be too picky.
No. But that needed a better clarification. I'm using phrases because I'm talking about melodies and little riffs and everything else. And that was good. So I've just noticed you've got you kind of expanding even further. So we've got rise and leads. So that's kind of they're kind of like synthesizer leads, but they almost sound there's a hybrid sound to those. I'm just listening to the demo, and there's orchestral elements in the back end of that as well. Am I kind of heading in the right direction there? I mean, with the lead sounds, or
absolutely,
yeah.
So the Horizon lead sounds, these are created because we love these big cinematic synth leads in the Hans Zimmer soundtracks, like in Inception or soundtrack tracks like that, because it's part of today's film music to use synthesizers, but not in a pop music way.
Right.
So we tried to recreate some of that, and we analyzed different film soundtracks for science fiction movies and modern movies, and thought, this sound is very interesting. This somehow it sounds cinematic. It's just a matter of taste and feeling, I guess. I can't really explain it with words, but somehow we recreated and rebuilt the sounds, and it's I think the the secret is that it's not just one synthesizer sound that you are playing, but it's all layered sounds.
Right.
So we have 4 slots, and we layered sounds together with some noisy sounds and one lead sound and something in the background. And you can play melodies, but sometimes we have one category where you just press chords and you get some nice pulses as well.
Yeah.
So everything you need for cinematic music.
Yeah. Awesome. And you've got some like just standard you've got some grand pianos and upright piano libraries as well.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think, there was another one that was more electronic, or was that
the Pulse?
The Pulse. There you go. Was I staring at that? Yeah, I didn't have that one written down. Oh no, there it is. Yeah, the Pulse. So that one is just more synths, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. But it's not only synthesizer; it's sample material recorded for that, and it's and we have processed some orchestral strings as well, and some drum stuff, and so it's a palette of sound. What we always try to do is we offer everything that a composer needs for a certain style. Yeah. So we don't stop at one category, but we thought, okay, we need some really great drums that you hear in a modern techno club.
Yeah,
it has to be within the instrument. And to be honest, I wasn't really part of the concept team there because I'm more an orchestral guy. Mm-hmm. But we have some younger guys at Sonuscore who really. One guy he's DJ in Berlin and he makes music for a club and he knows all about these styles. And so we melted this together with a cinematic feeling. And because in many modern TV shows, TV series, which are maybe a little bit apocalyptic or modern or futuristic, the film music is not only film music, but there is a 4-on-the-floor bass drum behind it.
Yeah,
and there are some really modern grooves, but still it feels cinematic. It doesn't feel like a track that just is played at a club. So that was very interesting for us and much fun to create this library.
Yeah, awesome. So, I mean, as far as the company, so you obviously got quite a few creative people working for you there.
Absolutely, yeah. We don't have a big hierarchy, but we are a team like 10 guys, absolutely crazy about sample libraries, building stuff, building engines and all that. And we just, we want to make this creative stuff and then we play it and we are happy people if it works.
Yeah, no, of course. There's also another feather in the bow with under your parent company that we didn't mention earlier, but we should just mention quickly, and that's the Boom Library, which is your massive sound effects library. So that's under your umbrella as well, which I'd say some people listening in would be aware of Boom Library, but were not aware that it was actually your team that was, because I mean I wasn't and I mean I knew about the Boom Library, but I never actually connected the dots that it was all under your umbrella there.
It's under our roof, so we are working together in the same building in Mainz.
Yeah.
But for the Boom Library, our Sonuscore team is not delivering anything for the Boom Library. So Boom Library has its own guys.
Yep.
They are a great team, much bigger than Sonuscore and much more successful than Sonuscore. These guys are incredible. They're delivering sounds for the big Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
Axel Rohrbach is the lead of the Boom Library, and he started at Dynamedion actually as intern, and started to create sound effects for games. And then he went like, Pierre Tillman, what about us doing a kind of sound library company and what about founding a new label? And so we found this label, and it was called Boom Library, and Axel started, and he was it was a bold move from Axel because he stopped doing sound effects for Dynamedion like for a year and didn't earn money, but he just he developed Boom Library for 1 year, and then we released our first product, and it was going quite well already. And So now it's become really
Nice.
successful.
Yeah, it's massive. So, I mean, that's you're 15 years in with the Boom library. So that was wow. There you go. So I thought I'd just mention that as well, just to show that show the listeners that there is more to Sonuscore and Dynamedian. There's a large conglomerate, well, not a conglomerate, but there's a large creative force behind both Sonuscore and Boom Library. So, yeah, there you go.
That's due to Pierre's energy. Pierre Langer, who founded Dynamedion together with me. He's a kind of guy. Every year he wants to build a new label and has some new ideas. And he's really crazy. But I think we wouldn't have been successful without him.
Yeah, well, that's great. That is great. Now, so just real quickly, can I ask, as far as online community support, do you have much interaction with your end users in that form, whether it's social media or forums or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have interaction with our support team, of course. So from the Sonuscore team, it's Simon Schrenk who does most of the support, and he's really very, very committed to this. He doesn't only do support, but he's part of the Sonuscore development team, of course. But he knows everything about our products, and he really tries to help everyone that writes to us. So, guys, if you have any issues with Sonuscore products, write to Sonuscore, and we will help you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, I've only got one last question. Thoughts on the current state of music technology? And the future development in the area. Have you got any thoughts on how all of that is evolving at the moment?
I think here comes AI into game.
Yeah, I didn't want to say AI, but yeah, I mean it's hard to kind of avoid it, isn't it?
It immediately came to my mind because I have to be honest. I'm fascinated by what AI already can do musically in a musical way. It's of course it's all derivated from existing music, from creative work of human.
Yes,
that's for sure. But it's still totally amazing. There are apps like Suno. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, and, we've discussed that numerous times.
Yeah. And it's just for fun. I sometimes for a friend of mine, I type in some crazy, stupid lyrics to praise this guy, and type in some text for a style that this person likes, and this engine gets me some versions of songs that is absolute insane.
Yeah,
it's not like it's a brilliant quality, but it's somehow very, very funny. And it's sometimes cool, and but I'm sure it will affect the market in a big way over the coming years.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've discussed the ethical side of it, and there's there's the huge discussion online now about all of these AI artists that are being created, but they're not actually they're not disclosing that they're AI, and then they're flooding playlists on some of the larger streaming platforms and stuff. And there's a lot of legal stuff going on as well with those platforms.
That's true. That's true.
I'm in two minds. About it. Myself and Pete have discussed it numerous times with numerous guests over the last couple of years, and we initially started having a bit of a chuckle about it because the songs were not that good, and then all of a sudden these things they're actually throwing out songs where you're like, wow, you have to really listen for it to be able to tell that it's actually AI. And for those that are not overly familiar, you might even miss the whole fact that it is AI. And I think it's an interesting area, and I think the industry has to push back against the robots a little bit. And I think if AI is actually used in a creative aspect, then I have far more tolerance for it. It's just the generative stuff that isn't being disclosed, I think, is the thing that I have a bit of an issue with. Yeah. So
I think it's well said. For me, it's I just hope already. I'm always a very optimistic guy, and I'm hoping the best for the use of AI. Because as I said earlier, with the sample libraries, it was like the same. Orchestras were recorded just playing single notes, single articulations, and to enable composers to play orchestral stuff with their keyboards. So many people were full of fear that nobody will hire orchestras anymore. And now the situation is, as I said, orchestras are hired very, very often, and orchestras are sexy again like that.
Yeah.
And maybe AI will become just a great help for the creative people in the market, and everyone who still makes a great product would never use AI music. I could imagine that it will be like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can, it's a difference. Am I doing a AAA project, or am I a poor, small game developer, young age, and I want to have already some music to get a feeling how my game will be later on.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just a helper. Maybe it's just serving us with some nice templates to be creative ourselves.
Yep. I think the big question is more with ethic and legality and copyright, because you can't copyright AI music. But it's an area that, we could probably go down a rabbit warren with that one.
Yeah, it will be exciting to follow this path and to watch that, how it develops further.
Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to chat about, Tilman?
Not really. I just maybe I just gonna praise Australia, your great country, and I want to visit you again and dive into the Great Barrier Reef
the Great
again.
Barrier Reef.
Yeah, exactly. I'm already, when I think about Australia, I'm there with my hat.
All right, with your snorkel on. Well, if you ever do make it back down, you can come down to Melbourne and, we can have a good old Weber barbecue on my deck and have a few beers. That'd be awesome.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah.
Pete, that invitation has been open to you for years. So, you just
I just need to drag myself down there.
You just need to drag yourself down, and I probably at some point need to drag myself back up to the US.
And of course, if any of you want to visit me in Germany and Mainz.
Oh, yes.
Just drop me a message.
100%. Well, I do have a European, it's on my wish list. I want to do a European tour, but it's going to be one of those driving tours. But Germany is definitely on my list because I want to hit the Nuremberg ring. There you go. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we can actually close off.
Okay, cool.
Thank you very much to both of you for your time and energy today, guys.
Likewise.
And we kind of covered some good ground there. So I think we can close off. And with that, on to the next.